Welcome back to Opa Podcast, episode 69. No decimals here today. It is a normal episode because the Gophers are the only reason why we don't have specials or can't have nice things. So I'm joined today by our two other hosts, Soup, say hi,
Hello.
and Wyatt.
I am unfortunately here.
Yeah. And Griffin is unavailable due to work commitments, but if he is able to get done sooner, he will jump on, hopefully. But to go from there, the recap, the Gophers were defeated by Michigan, a huge 52-10 victory. The largest margin Michigan has won this season so far. And I don't know if it's a good thing the Gophers scored double digits on Michigan after 6 games. I don't know if that is a seldom victory or not. I'll start out with two positives. Our man, Dragon Kesic, our kickoff and field kicker, scored a career high 54-yard field goal in the first half of this game.
Banger. An absolute banger.
Absolute banger.
That kid has got a leg.
Which is amazing. We knew this guy had talent, and usually we don't always like. It's been special teams has been a problem, except for him. I know Wyatt also wants to talk about Mark Crawford, but we'll get to that eventually. And then,
Just say Mark Crawford has not been a problem per se, but
yeah.
hmm.
But moving on from there, before the half,
He hasn't been a problem, but he also hasn't helped at all.
yeah. But we'll get to that. And then other positive, what a great touchdown from Ethan to Daniel Jackson to end the first half. But that's the positives I'll leave there. I'll give the floor to Soup and Wyatt to talk about the rest of this game.
So that DJX
Oh
touchdown
man.
is right in front of my seats. Like that's like right by like we had a perfect view of it. Like from where
Yeah.
our seats were. It was awesome. So like that was super cool. Happy for him. That's a great play. Ethan, that's a good play. I'm happy. The Dragon kick was also like really cool because that was like, okay, like you need points here. Like if we already make this a game, this is a point where like we could really like come back. You know what I mean? Like we can like we can start rolling from here. Like oh we
It's a huge moment of momentum.
I think it
Like
was the second most win probability added of the game.
that tracks.
Yeah, that Dragon Kesic kick added 6.7 points of win percentage for the Gophers.
Yep. That's
It was the second
certainly
largest
something.
swing in the game. Yeah. Yeah. It's the second largest swing in the game, the third being the Daniel Jackson touchdown. So, pretty
And
crazy.
I think we're all aware of the first.
What do you think it is?
I'm gonna go with it's that first pick six is probably the largest swing in the game.
15%.
Yeah, by a margin.
And that was like that was like I had a really good view of it from where we were, and I was just like, "What are you looking at?" You know, like from my angle, it was like I just saw the corner sit down, and I was like, "Don't throw that," and he threw it, and I was like, "No."
And it happened again later in the game. He
The
did the
second
same thing.
second one, or they're both pretty good plays by Michigan. Like a lot of this comes with like parentheses. Michigan might be the best team in the country.
Yeah.
So
That fair, very true and very fair.
So that team, I mean, that team is good. I would not be surprised if that team is holding a national title trophy above its head at the end of the year.
And like
So
kudos to them if they do it.
yeah, like it'd be sick.
They've
It's the Big Ten
played
team winning.
they've
Let's go.
they've played in a way that says we deserve this. And that's like good on them.
Yeah.
Can't
So
fault them.
So yeah, so
But
that first pick to me, like from my vantage point, maybe not from his angle, but from my vantage point, it looked really bad. And then the second one I thought was just kind of a nice play by their linebacker. He's getting blitzed. He knows where his hot read is, but guess what? So does the linebacker, and he just slides under. He never sees him. So
I think that's fair to say. They looked very similar from my angle, but I could see how they would potentially look different from where Ethan is sitting and potentially look different from where you are sitting
yeah,
for
I
sure.
really thought the second one was a better play than the first play. The first play, I was like, dude, there's 3 white jerseys around that guy. What are we doing here?
First one was a boneheaded throw for sure.
Yeah.
And
So,
I think the second one was a little bit more panicked
and
and
I think
makes
it's
a little bit
because
more sense.
And I think it's because our passing concepts have just gotten so predictable. And I think it's because like this is something I think if we want to like just kind of harp on with the offense, it's that like they're
Yeah.
still not letting Ethan get enough reps throwing the ball. I still
How
feel
many
like
times
they are
he threw
expecting
15
so much
times?
from him on every throw.
Yeah, he threw what, 15 times all game?
I mean, yeah, you have no room for error against these teams like Michigan. Why, like you said, he is 15 times per game. You know, it's just like that's not acceptable for a kid that you were like so excited about being the future of your program. You know what I mean? Like you were
Uh,
like all in on this kid from a recruiting standpoint, and
yeah.
like let him go. Like just yeah, there's gonna be bad plays, but I feel like a lot of these picks are becoming like you throw that 6 yard out like you if you're calling 15 pass plays a game, let's say 20 and 5 he scrambles, right? Let's say
Yep.
you're calling 20 passes in a game where you run 73 plays, right? Ugh, first of all, or 56, what is that, scrimmage plays? Still, 23, like 20-ish, you're calling 20 runs a game. It's just not enough for him to get going. He's still a young player. Like this is really his first season still of experience. And I just do not think like the passing game is too vanilla and they go away from it immediately when anything goes wrong. And I think every throw for him, he feels so much like pressure to
Yeah.
complete that like he's pressing, and it's just like
It's a gotta have it throw every time in his limited throws that he can make in
they
each game
they threw
now.
the ball
And
5
like
times in the second half.
every time you put him in that situation where he's just under so much pressure to make the throw, the chances of a mistake go up astronomically. It's just he's a young player who's not gonna, you know, learn if you put him in a situation where he's gonna fail. Where and it, like that's just the option that he has is like fail.
Yeah. Yep. And then like every throw is like a clear passing situation. You just got guys flying at him with their ears pinned back, And I thought the offensive line, like, Michigan's got a really good front. Like, it's a tough assignment, and I don't think it went that well for them. So he
Yeah,
was like, he'd pressure all day in his face. He was getting flushed from the pocket. He couldn't really stand in there and deliver. The one time he does, it's a touchdown down the field. So love that. But like, he spends the rest of the game running for his life, basically. And then being asked to convert, big third downs or get big chunks on second and long or whatever. And it's just not a recipe for success. And at this point, like it's got to be PJ at this point because we've had 3 offensive coordinators and it always looks the same. You know what I mean? Like it always looks the same. Like if the passing game isn't working, we just go into the shell. We just don't do it. And like that can't happen anymore. This is ridiculous.
But then I
somebody
do,
has to put their foot down and say enough is enough.
yeah. But I do want to say this though, and I know Laurens didn't chime into this game recently. To all of our viewers and listeners, Laurens doesn't really jump onto the group chat or on the pod. Again, he's busy, but when Laurens comes on, it's not always good. And I think he made a note, which I totally agree with. And if I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, Soup, I think the only OC that PJ was able to be successful with the kind of offense he wants to run was Kirk Shiraka. From
Sure.
start till 2019. Obviously, Kirk left in 2020 and 21. That's when we had Mike Sanford. Then Kirk came back again for 22 last year, and the offense looked more like what we've been seeing, or what we like to see. And now with Greg Harbaugh Jr., who is our primary play caller, even though it's co-offensive coordinator, quote unquote, it's Greg Harbaugh calling most of the plays. And of the three coordinators, Mike and Harbaugh have not been able, or Sanford and Harbaugh have not been able to make what PJ wants to do versus Kirk. And obviously we see Kirk doing well at Rutgers. And it makes me miss him even more because Kirk knows, like, hey, I know what PJ wants to run. I can make it work with the talent that we have. Hence, we had a season like 2019. Or last year where we still won 9 games. But outside of that, you're right. Like, the offensive coordinators we've had so far with this kind of offense has been very vanilla and a shell of what it used to be. And I don't know.
Well, I just don't. Well, because I think they're still trying to like ramp Ethan up and do the things that like he's good at and that he likes to do. And I think he likes throwing those like 6-yard outs and stuff that, he gets those interceptions on these sideline balls that he's trying to throw, with velocity, because like that's what he's good at. And I get that they keep going back to that, but it's to the point where you're putting so much of a tendency up because your passing game is not diverse enough, because you don't take enough time to develop it or do anything with it if it doesn't work automatically. And it just like that's what's going to happen with a young guy who makes mistakes. But like, you're not leaving him any room for error. It just doesn't make sense.
I'd love to see them put him in a situation where, like, he doesn't have to, go out and be the guy every time. He's got to make a throw.
I mean, Wyatt, they threw the ball 5 times in the second half when they were down 3 scores.
And
that's not acceptable. Like,
yes, obviously not acceptable.
like,
And
have
to
some
me,
pride. What are we doing here?
It looked like they had just given up completely.
Yeah.
And I think they have. And that's the biggest indictment of PJ from this game. Is you just gave up. You didn't even try to put up any more points.
Yeah, you were just trying to like not let it get any worse.
And it was getting worse.
Yeah, and then it got worse, and then you were like,
well, it can't get worse than that.
It can't get worse.
And I think, yeah, at the end of the day, this game, there's a lot that went wrong, and we're all aware of that. But it falls on PJ.
What's up, Griff?
How we doing?
Good. We're talking about the decision to throw 5 times in the second half while you're down 3 scores.
It's absolutely terrible, just in the fact that when your quarterback's QBR is the exact same as the completions that he has, that's when you know you have a problem. Like, I just don't understand the play calling in general in the second half, where you're down that many scores and you're like, let's keep running the ball. Like, you need to change it up. Like, what is with the play calling?
I think
because at this point, this is our ceiling. Like, I guess this is our ceiling, guys, for the entire season. It's like one of PJ's first years, we lose by Michigan by a lot, but it's still less than what we lost to recently. Like, this is the Gopher ceiling this year, I guess, and I do not see that changing whatsoever.
Yeah, I think they really have a lot of work to do this by, and I think it mainly comes from the head coach, because Griff, to your point, I really think he's the reason why the play calling is this way. I don't think Greg Harbaugh necessarily, or Harbaugh or whatever, wants to like sit there and call runs all game. You know what I mean? I don't think that's why he took the job. So, I mean, he's the quarterback coach. You think he wants this guy just handing the ball off every play? I don't think so. I think this comes from the top. I think this comes from the way PJ thinks they can win games, and for some reason his like insane risk aversion at times, but it's inconsistent because then they, you burn 90 seconds off the clock before the half, and then you decide to throw a touchdown pass and like try, but you spend that whole drive burning clock instead of chasing points, and then you're rewarded for it at the end, and it's just like, but this is how did we get here? Like he just like I don't understand what he's so afraid of. You know what I mean? Like that whole game, it was like, dude, like you started the game with a pick six. This literally cannot get any worse. Like just let it all hang. And he just is so afraid, and I don't know of what.
And it's, I think, just the nature of the pass plays too. It's like you're throwing it. You threw the first pick six on the outside, where it's easy for a DB to jump the route, which is exactly what happened.
Especially when you run like 7 different pass plays and that's it.
Exactly. So it's like simplify the pass plays, get them. Like I'd rather have quick, easy passes that get 3, 4, 5, 6 yards than trying to make 10-yard out routes to the sticks and then ended up getting a DB jumping the route. And
like from a scheme standpoint, Griff, you're completely correct too, because it just doesn't make sense because teams are loading the box against you, and so you want to throw to the outside, but like defenders they're playing like low zones. Like you're throwing into like these very risky low zones because teams are hanging because all you do is run the football, and you're like creating more traffic for him. And it's like I understand that's like, oh well, you don't want to throw over the middle if they're going to stack the box. It's like, well, sometimes you have to like push the edge of the field though to get them off you, and they just don't want to do that.
Exactly. It's just situational football, right? Like we want them to do different things at different times, but then they try and make those different things the norm, and that's where it kind of pisses me off. I mean, I look at it too with the World Series. I sit there and I'm like, we can play small ball in the World Series, bunt the ball, get runners on second and third in scoring position. Like, I'm not here trying to make our offense known throughout FBS that we can create points.
But like
just run an efficient game.
Yeah, and like nobody expected to win this last game, right? Like I don't think any of us, nobody expected to win this last game, but like have some pride, try and win. Like it's crazy at this point. Like it's just like you wave the white flag basically coming out of the locker room the second half. Like what? Stay in the locker room at that point. Don't come back out, because then we could have at least all gotten like 2 hours of our lives back.
Yeah, and they were only down 14 at the half, right? It was 24-10.
Yeah.
Yeah, you scored 14 points in the fourth quarter before. I really do not understand any play calling that happened in the second half. So
well, I think PJ was just like, oh well, let's just try and get out of here healthy, and they still didn't. So.
Well, see, that's what you think too against like Northwestern, and then Darius Taylor has this little, injury and whatnot. It's like
on carry 31.
On carry 31. It's like you're not always going to get out early just playing conservative. You play out.
It has bitten you multiple times this season.
Exactly.
And it's
exactly.
At what point do you change?
At this point, he doesn't. He is so stubborn and so set in his ways, which sometimes does work. But when and it's cool that if you want to,
this team has like too much talent. This team has too much talent to look this inept on offense throwing the ball.
I agree. So I mean, we just need to simplify the pass plays. We need to balance.
Well, the thing is I think they've done that. I think they've simplified it because Michigan's all over those plays they've picked. So they know exactly where the ball's going. Like, because we only run like the same like 7 route concepts, because he's good at throwing the outside ball because he has an arm, but you don't mix it up at all. Your tight ends are not a factor.
Which blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. Like, you want your tight ends to be efficient and productive in running and passing. And we can't seem to use a tight end to save our lives for anything other than blocking. And even the blocking isn't always as effective. Because if you line up Michigan's defensive lineman personnel and our offensive lineman personnel, I'm taking Michigan's 7 out of 7 days of the week, and it's not even close.
I mean, Michigan won like best group in the year like
Yep.
2 years in a row.
Yep. And how many sacks were in this game?
A lot.
A lot, yeah. So like I know what I said last week in my comments. I'm like, if we don't win the line of scrimmages, and I said we were going to lose both the line of scrimmages, like that's going to be the end of it. And there it was. Like, if
Yeah, I mean,
you don't
they
even know
were
the number, and it's a lot. It's not
they were physically outmatched up front all game.
like, was he even getting 3 seconds in the pocket to try and make a play?
No, I mean, like he's running for his life all game, but like
Yep.
you're still not doing anything to help him during the game. You know what I mean? Like you're not like
Yep.
you're not moving the pocket. You know what I mean? Like if you do it like once and you never do it again. And it's just like everybody knows what your tendencies are at this point. And you just play into them. And it's just it baffles me. But like to your point, Griff, PFF's highest graded defensive tackle for last week was Mason Graham from Michigan with a 90.7 grade. So he had a good day. So I don't know. Ethan needs to have 25 to 30 passes a game for the rest of the season. And I just don't care. I don't care. Just let the kid throw the
Yep.
ball. Let him get some reps. He needs some reps. He's a rhythm guy. And you just have to help him and not you just can't give up. Like you just can't give up for no reason.
Yeah, and I mean, like, PJ has mentioned this in press conferences too. He says, you know, last week you guys thought he was not good, and now you see him this week and he's doing really good. But at the same time, as a coach, if you're only letting him throw 15 times a game and he's
said
only
that-
getting 5 completions, you're not helping him either.
He said that after Northwestern then, right?
Yep.
Right?
It must
Okay,
have been
yeah,
after
yeah.
Northwestern.
So yeah, we thought he looked good, but you must not have because you stopped throwing. You stopped throwing in the second half. Or did he just forget that he completely took Ethan away in the second half? Like, did he just forget that he like completely changed the game plan in the second half and had them go back into their shell instead of letting their 8 for 8 with 2 or 3 touchdowns and on 200 yards quarterback keep throwing the ball? Like, what in the world? Who is he kidding?
So, I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't even know what to think of our offense moving forward because they could show up or they could just simply have another blunder like they did against Michigan. Like, our offense is so fragile that like it's sad that we don't even have a scheme that is semi-consistent and reliable.
Well, they don't try to be. Like that's my issue is that they don't try to be. Like you have more talent than this. This is not like some talentless team that you have to win the game running the ball because you have this dominant running back. You don't have Muhammad Ibrahim anymore. You don't. Your best player is the quarterback, and you got to let him throw. Your best player is probably actually Daniel Jackson, but whatever. But like, then use him. Like what? I don't know. It's just like you're supposed to play to your players' strengths, not like what you think the best way to win a football game is. Because like Jim Tressel or whatever is like your god.
I am not going to argue one point.
This is going to be a very interesting bye as well because we are going into a bye week. We're
What do
already
you
at the
think Joe
halfway
Rossi
point.
says to them in the bye week when he self-scouts them? What do you think Joe Rossi says? Because you know he doesn't give a shit.
Oh, I know.
To his defense?
No. To like self-scouting the offense.
Just like, does he even say anything anymore? Is it worth his time if PJ's not going to listen to him?
No, I think Rossi goes in on the offense. You know, he's like, y'all suck.
He should.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
But also, he should be going in on PJ. Like, you gave up on these guys.
Yeah, I don't know. They completely give up on the passing game for like for the slightest reason every game, and I don't get it. It's like
Obviously, Ethan threw 2 fairly boneheaded picks.
But even then, it's like the run game isn't an automatic thing. Like you have to like there are plays that don't work consecutively and they never go away from it. You know what I mean? Like they always go back to running. It's like the opposite. It's like they're committed to like having an efficient running game, which is good, but they just give up on like trying to pass. It's like so weird because they're like, no, you obviously have to get repetition running the ball to have sustained success running the ball. You have to, you can't just run the ball 5 times and expect it to work. You just can't run the ball 15 times a game, right? And expect it to work. Well, you can't just throw the ball 15 times a game and expect it to work.
Well, I mean, if he makes 2 boneheaded passes, right? Like that's 40% of the passes he even completed today. It's like quarterbacks make boneheaded passes all the time, right? But they might have
He's
30,
a young
30.
quarterback. That's who he is.
Right, he's a young
What
quarterback,
he's gonna
but he
do?
should have 30 or 35 attempts because boneheaded plays are going to happen. Like he's a
You're
young
down
quarterback. He's
2-3 scores all game.
Yep, throw the ball. But I guess it's not. Oh, excuse me. Wow, hold on.
What do you think the Gophers' early downs EPA was per play?
Oh God, I don't even want to think about it.
It's like negative.
What's even the scale of
Yeah, what's the
EPA?
scale?
Is there a
So it's basically how many points do you add for every play that you have on the field, right? So you take all your plays and how many points every play in this situation did you add or take away from your team?
Oh, I'm gonna say negative. I don't know.
negative like 3.5?
-5. Screw it.
It's negative 0.3, but that's like pretty bad. Think about it. Every play they ran the entire game.
They lost themselves 0.3
0.3 points. Every early down play, which they had 40 of.
Ouch.
It's just
Because they ran the ball 70% of the time.
you gotta ask at a point, when is PJ gonna just be embarrassed with what he's putting on the field?
I'll against Michigan, but then it doesn't seem like he's gonna change at all from the looks of it.
Oh, he changed because that's the best team in the country. It's fine. Let's just on to the next one. Like he was done thinking about the Michigan game at the half. And if he doesn't play with any pride, then he doesn't have room to be embarrassed. And the entire fan base is embarrassed about that loss.
Yeah, it's not that you lost.
So much
it's the way in which you lost.
Definitely. Like, I have to say, I have to chime in this a little, like, digressing, but my siblings and I want to go to the Badger Gopher game coming up on Thanksgiving weekend. And I'm looking at SeatGeek and Ticketmaster, right? If anyone reselling, a lot of fans are already selling their tickets.
Good.
Like ticket prices I usually see for $90 to $120 on the Gophers
Get your
ticketing
Wisconsin
website.
tickets now, people.
Yeah,
it won't be like that forever.
I've seen it gone under $70. Like fans are already kind of done with what the Gopher program is looking right now.
I think that's an overreaction.
That's just
personally.
True, but again, that's what I'm seeing, and I'm like, hey, me and my family can get actually snag some good price tickets at the end zone, maybe. But outside of that, like, this is not what the fans have signed up for. This is not what they've been wanting to see from what was it, 3 seasons, or the last 2 seasons where we won 8 games, right? Plus, getting the axe back, and we certainly after this bye, I thought we had a chance to get Floyd back, but the way how this has been going, I feel like Cade McNamara is going to throw more over this Gopher team, and then the Hawkeye defense is going to eat the offense to the point that Floyd Arozeo is going to stay in Iowa City for another year. So, as you can tell, I am very, very pissed. Oh, did we lose Soup?
Yeah, we appear to have lost Soup. I'm assuming that he'll come back.
Oh, there he is.
You good, Soup?
I'm back. Hello?
He got too
back.
angry.
That's funny because I thought it was Jason, so I was trying to vamp for him. So I said he got too angry.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm gonna come back with they had more yards per play passing than they did running, just to let everybody know.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Just saying.
That, like, yeah, no, I fully believe you.
Yeah, I don't know, but they just
It's just
they hit
like,
a deep shot to end the half and literally don't try and do it ever again. I don't know. I don't get it. I think we've beat this
and
one to death, though. Oh boy.
anytime that he gets asked about, playing this conservative style of football he plays, he's going to point to plays like the Daniel Jackson touchdown as like, well, what about that play? Well,
Mm,
PJ, that's just the play that shows
I
us you
don't think
can
he's.
do it.
I don't think he's dumb. I don't think he's like. I don't think he looks back on that and is like, "That was a good decision." I think he's like, "Yeah, I kind of got lucky there."
No,
Um,
I think he knows he got lucky, but like people are going to ask him, why don't you ever make the gutsy call?
he's just gonna lie. It's fine. Like,
Yeah, it's like, I've got a couple of plays that I've called ever that were gutsy enough that I can point to him and try to cover my ass.
yeah, I don't know. They just wanted to keep running, and it's so weird because like, I mean, we've said about all we can. I think about this about like the offensive side of this. Like,
Yeah, I it,
ugh, it's
and I mean,
aggravating.
yeah,
Well, let's move
So
on.
they have the bye. Hopefully, Joe Rossi tells them they're trash, and they fix it.
Yeah, but I still want to touch on some things though, because going on to defense, like I will say, knowing Joe Rossi and the kind of coordinator that he is, he probably game planned the heck to put our players in the best position. But my God, Maverick Baranowski, and I'll call a spade a spade. I was rooting for him like start of the
All of the
season.
linebackers,
All
of
yeah,
them.
Maverick and all the linebackers were like I don't know what the hell they were doing. They were way out of position, missed tackles, and like you said, Soup. I think the last 2 weeks when our linebackers don't tackle and do their jobs well, the defense is
Falls
wide
apart.
open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we lose. We
yeah,
lose football games when the linebackers don't tackle.
yeah. I mean, they had that one play that was on like a big third down. They just get like a huge throw on like a deep over. You remember that one?
Yeah.
And then that's where they end up um, scoring the touchdown, I think, on that drive where Anthony Smith gets to JJ McCarthy. And we'll get to you, JJ. Don't worry. And I just like that guy was wide, like he ran wide open in the middle of the field. Like my buddy looked at me, he goes, "I could have thrown it to him." Like there was nobody within 40 yards of this guy. And it's like, what happened? So I'm sure Rossi is just like incensed right now.
And Rossi's still calling it as well as he can.
Yeah, I mean, guys are in position to make plays and they don't. Like we get that PI call. Remember that PI call on that deep ball? I think it was Darius Green.
Yeah.
So if he turns his head, he's got better position on that ball than the receiver. That's an easy pick. All he has to do is turn around and that ball hits him in the lap and he just dives at the receiver without turning his head. Like, and that's just a young player, who got beat and was like trying to recover or didn't want to give up a big play. But like this defense is very young and they're making so many mistakes right now, and it's just like it's it gets rough. Like when it rains, it pours with this group. Like you're just begging for somebody to make a play, and then it never comes.
Yeah, and that's with I think the veteran talent that we have coming back was mainly in the secondary. Like I feel like it was Nubin and Wally, and then some guys on the D line. But other than that, like linebackers are all young. The other defensive backs are young. The interior D line is also young. They're like
In the defense of the interior defensive line, they did a pretty good job of defending the run. To be honest, like I
Yeah,
thought
I
they
mean,
did a
like,
pretty good job defending the run, and I just think that in the passing game, like JJ, it was like, hit your back foot and throw because your dude's wide ass open all game.
But I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen further with this defense. I'm hoping Cody Lindenberg comes back, but honestly, maybe he should sit out for the rest of
guys
the
just
season.
need to make plays. Guys just need. I mean, the problem with
too.
the defense now is we just need guys to make the plays. Like JJ McCarthy rolls out, gets that touchdown, right? And like the DB is there. The DB is there, and he just like dives at his feet and like gets pushed to the ground. And it's like, dude, what? Like what is that?
I know they teach you to tackle low, but like a little higher than that would be nice.
Yeah. Maybe look. Maybe look. I don't know. So just diving. But JJ McCarthy, like, so they remember that touchdown they threw, and they threw the roughing the passer call on Anthony Smith, a true freshman. First of all, what an atrocious roughing the passer call! Wow.
Yeah, extremely bad.
Yeah, like that's not late at all. He's like basically getting hit as he threw. And then JJ McCarthy runs down the field with his offensive line, and they get in this kid's face about it. And I'm like, you all know that's not a penalty. You all know that you haven't gotten beat all night, and then this true freshman came in and whooped you for one play. And you're pissed, and you're in his face, and you know what? JJ McCarthy might be a good football player, but he's soft. I'm saying it here. He's soft. Because if you think you can get away with that at the NFL, where he will play at the next level, you think you can get in the face of like Myles Garrett and, Khalil Mack and Danielle Hunter and stuff at the NFL level, go ahead, try, see where that gets you. Go ahead.
He's
we don't even need to talk about like the
draft,
big,
the movie. Sorry to interrupt you, Brian.
Yeah, no, that's like it doesn't even need to be one of those like superstar players. Just literally any defensive lineman or linebacker at the NFL level is not going to take that from you, young man.
I just think it's Bush League. I mean, you're up a bazillion points. The game is over. You know that's not a penalty. You've played football your whole life. You know that's not a penalty. And just like have some respect. Jesus. Like this game is over. Like the kid made a play. Like just let it go.
But I guess not the JJ McCarthy.
No, I all I'd seen was pictures of him until like watching him really play at this point. I don't like him. Soft. Looks soft to me.
But is it safe to say if we're good with defense, are we okay moving on?
I'm really dreading the part where we have to just, once again eviscerate special teams. But
yes, on to special teams. Asterisk Dragon Kesich. Is that gonna be it? Can we put that on the shirt moving forward?
I know there's an NFL scout who was at this game watching JJ McCarthy and Tyler Nubin, and he saw Dragon Kesich bang a 54-yarder and just went, okay, write that one down.
Gotta call boss real quick.
But yeah, special teams. I don't know where to start.
It sucks still.
Hold my breath.
On a happier note, let's just praise Dragon.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of positives to talk about, so we might as well just talk about the positives while we can.
That's true. And
54 yards is 54 yards, no matter how you slice it.
That's true. And I will say this. Mark Crawford's a really good punter when the other team doesn't catch the ball.
And even when they're catching the ball this season, he's improved. But
sure. He's improved what, from 39 to 41?
Well, yeah, like obviously the bar was quite low.
I don't know.
But
it's just like if he punts it directionally and away from somebody, if I'm like, okay, as long as they don't if they catch this, it's going to be really bad for us, but if they let it go, it will roll. Like he's good at getting the ball to roll, but like teams just catch the ball. It doesn't like I'm like, duh, like they're gonna keep doing that. Stop. Like just punt it as far as you can, see what happens. He's older than me, you guys. He's
Oh,
older than me.
I'm well aware that, and this is not a guy who's got any shot at continuing to play football after he's done in college. I
There's no
think we're
reason.
all on the
There's
same
no
page
reason he
there.
should be now.
There's really, no reason that he should be playing now, except for, I don't know, maybe the Gophers just don't have anyone else who can even punt.
Give me 2 weeks. I got 4 years of eligibility left. I played hockey my
Hey.
entire life. If you don't think I could hit the gym hard for like I don't know, maybe next season.
Or how about
next season, I would be good.
Or how about this?
You
Or
think-
serviceable. I would be serviceable at best.
I don't want to put more pressure on the kid, but like, Dragon has a leg. Can we not have him
No,
punt too?
too much. Too much.
Can
Too
someone
much.
just give Jacob Calhoun a call? See what he's doing? Because Jacob Calhoun's got a little bit of a boot on him.
Can we re-sign Ryan Santoso or?
No, the eligibility's gone.
We could just change his name, easy. Just kidding. But then I want to talk about this then, because obviously we always eviscerate the special teams. I feel like almost every episode now, the last 2-3 seasons. But do you think it's a failure also on PJ and Rob Wenger for not finding the talent that we need in the specialists? Like, obviously.
No, they have the talent. They just this is the same thing they do on offense. They just choose not to use it.
True.
And, we used to yell about it being Rob Wagner's fault. And it's just, like, I'm at a point where I'm like, is it?
Yeah.
Or is it PJ?
Yeah, because the amount of times we've seen like
No,
the
it's
PJ.
PJ.
Yeah, the PJ shouting
It's just
matches.
like the offense. It's PJ.
Yeah. Like, I think Soup mentioned it. Like, I actually got on air. Like, you see Rob going at it with PJ. Like, no, let Dragon kick it.
I think that's normal though. I think that's normal. Coaches in the middle of the game, like guys are passionate. Like I don't think that's nothing.
Oh, okay.
That's just like two guys competing who are very, they have a long history together. They're just intense guys. Like I don't think that is like indicative of what their relationship is like. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think it's indicative of what their relationship is like. But does that mean that, like, is Rob getting overruled in the moment? Are these bad calls?
Yeah, yes. That's why
all PJ?
that's the same thing I'm saying with the offense is that like
Yeah.
he's just saying we're gonna run the ball. We're running the ball here, first and second down. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
just doing
Yep.
that. That's why he won't. He won't let them in on any of the headset stuff. He won't let Gopher Video or anybody use like any of the communications for content, which is like I don't. What's the point? It doesn't look like you've got this like some secret sauce or anything. It's not like
We all know what you're saying. Run the ball.
yeah. It's just it's him. It's like it's the same thing as offense in this case with special teams. It's like I don't know why Elijah Spencer isn't out there fielding punts or why Sean Tyler isn't out there. Like Sean Tyler's out there, but they're not even trying to return any of the kicks. And
Yeah,
then when
like-
teams kick it short, they just still fair catch it instead of like running up and catching it. And it's like I just don't understand. Like your special teams is not even like a factor in the game for anybody, but you have these players who are good at it that you just don't like. One of those at the end of the game, like, fell on the goal line and like was very close to like still being in the field of play. You know what I mean? Like the ball came down right on the goal line, and I was like, oh. And they
And
were, like,
Sean
halfway
Tyler
off the
never
field.
even looked at it.
He was halfway off the field.
Because that's what they're getting coached to do. They don't even get coached to look at the football.
No, it's you look at you put your heels on the goal line, you look at the football. If it's going to go over your head, you just let it go. But it's like the ball comes like you have to track the ball still, and like they're just like totally fine with like a touchback every time, and like even the teams like kick it short, like you don't even try and run up and catch the ball. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then this is what makes me curious then. Say this season ends, right? Like, we have 6 more games. We probably get to like what, 6-6, maybe 5-7. I don't know. Like, I'm just
All right, let's calm down. I mean, let's
I know,
pump the
but
brakes a little bit.
6 wins is still on the table for sure.
it is.
7 wins is still on the table.
6 wins is the bare minimum.
Yeah. But it's just that what I am worried about is that we know PJ is stubborn, and he's probably not going to change his ways next season, especially now that we're getting USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington programs who happen to also be recruiting better than our program, and there's a talent deficiency. I'm just going to say it. And I think next year we have Michigan and USC, right? Am I missing any major opponents for the 2024 calendar?
Ugh, I'm not even there yet mentally.
But I'm like, in my head, I'm again, it's a stretch and going way far out there, but I think we praised it early on because PJ got us to that 11 win season in 19 and kept us consistent for winning 9 games in 21 and 22. But are we getting to the point that like that bar that PJ set are we going to get to the point that's not going to be met, especially with the kind of
a bar that was a bar that PJ you think set, but with the wrong players that weren't his. Like that was the bar set with the Kill Clay's players. Now we're at a bar this year with Fleck players.
Yeah, I mean, I think his coaching has gotten in the way of his players way more. Like I think his coaching is much more of a factor of what is going on here than the talent is. I think they've done a good job bringing in talent, but I think they just can't get out of their own way, or PJ just can't get out of his own way, basically.
Yeah. This team hurts us.
Hurt us.
You guys know Iowa has thrown the ball more than we have?
Yep.
That's really sad, especially because Iowa didn't complete a pass to a wide receiver on Saturday.
Did they not? Oh.
Nope, they didn't.
They legitimately didn't complete a single pass to a wide receiver.
Right now they have more attempts than Ethan Kaliakmanis. But he has more yards. Interesting.
Oh boy.
I wonder what would happen if we actually like put some faith in Ethan.
Or like let him develop,
Yeah.
like try to just like, let him develop. Like he's not given any room to make mistakes. It's
between all of us, we've been saying it all season on this podcast, and you've probably been saying it the most, Sue, but like let him make the mistakes. Let him put some faith in him to like that. Like, hey, maybe you're not always gonna have it figured out, but we're gonna let you go out there and keep trying. Why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
like if you get one of those Daniel Jackson touchdowns every 15 plays, why not
That's a lot
go
of
for
touchdowns.
30? Why not just do 30 and you'll get 2 touchdowns? And maybe sprinkle another one in there. Who knows? Like, what if he plays well? You ever think of that?
Holy crap! Could be a real football team.
I mean, I think it has to change if they're gonna win this season, and I don't think his job is in jeopardy unless the bottom really falls out here, to be honest with you. So,
Oh
Yeah,
no, I don't
I
see
think
him losing this job, but I could see though, because you know how I feel like,
I do think it's frustrating though. Like I do
yeah,
think, you know what I mean? Like I think everybody's on the same page about it.
yeah, but then if PJ, he's probably not listening to us, but hear me out, gentlemen. Let's give one piece of advice from each of us to close out the podcast, because this upcoming week is the bye, no games for the Gophers, and then we come back next Saturday for the game for the Pig. So we'll meet again on Monday. But what is your one advice to PJ? Like again, it can be very pissed off and mad, emotional. I don't care. What is your one advice for PJ himself to change his best for this upcoming rivalry game to get hopefully the bacon back?
Well, Jason, you just said it right there in your last
I was
sentence.
gonna say, shit,
Change
man.
your
You just took
best.
my answer.
You,
Sorry.
Wyatt and I are on the same page right now, so I love that.
I'm just so like angry about his bullheaded nature and just unwillingness to, try something new or give his team like a real chance.
The results are bad every time.
Fucking come on.
I just hate when you have to use someone's advice against them.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that, like, I completely support PJ, where it's like, change your best, don't let the circumstances dictate your behavior. All these slogans, I'm like, yes, yes. But when you don't follow them yourself, that's
Yep.
when it starts to piss me off.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I want to believe everything you're saying. I have all the books with all the slogans, and I look at them, I'm like, on paper, this is fantastic. But why can't we execute this live in a game? Like, it just absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah, and I think what I would say to him is let it go. Just let it go, dude. Like whatever like tension you're holding on to and anxiousness you're holding on to that is like got you so deep in your head in these games, just let go and let your coaches who you like, who you hired, let them go. Just let them go and be the CEO, be the be a manager. You're too in. I think he's too involved. Like he's ruining the game flow. He has no feel for it. He's never called plays. He has no idea. Like he just needs to let it go.
Yeah.
Like the only
I,
way you're gonna ever have a puncher's chance in that game against Michigan, if you even wanted to win, which what a wild concept that would be. Um, you have to let him just cook through it. You know what I mean? Like, especially going into the half, he nails a deep shot to his number one receiver, and then you take the ball away from him in the second half.
You heard it here, PJ.
at a
All right,
certain point, you can hear all these slogans all you want. He keep repeating them all he wants. But at a certain point, we've seen enough and we don't believe you anymore. And that should be the most terrifying thing possible for PJ. That people just don't buy what he's selling.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think that's an issue for him right now with this team. Like I said, if the bottom falls out, we'll see. But I mean, I think
No,
he's
yeah,
still.
like it's not going to happen this season, but you think eventually it's coming.
Well, I think what's annoying, like I said, like we said, it's like this and the Carolina game. Like there were plays to be made and we missed. You know what I mean? Like that's different.
Mhm.
Like there were plays to be made, we missed, we ended up losing. But like everybody saw, like okay, we hung in there for a minute, and if we just played a little bit cleaner, we probably could have had a game there. But nobody expected to win that one either. That was fine. And
Yeah.
this game the same way, but we just never. It was never in doubt, and you just rolled over. Like you didn't even put up a fight, and I think that's like, and it was to a full stadium. A full stadium showed up, and you just like rolled over. You don't even like try and get the crowd into it or anything. I don't know. It's just I just don't understand what he's so afraid of. Like literally, this was the worst case scenario, and it played out in front of you, and you still are not changing.
He's played to 2 sellouts now.
I stand behind what I said. I do not think Greg Harbaugh is here to call 50 pass plays or 50 run plays a game. I don't think that's why he's here. I don't think that's why he's quarterback coach. Like
No,
I
he's
think
that definitely.
I think PJ is dictating the game flow too much, and it's killing them. And he has to realize at this point that it's him.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Didn't come to the Vikes game though. Tough.
Uh, Ouch. Me sitting here in my Vikings
Hurtful but
jersey.
fair.
I saw there was a bunch of fake news on that. Like people were like, "Oh yeah, she was on the airplane with the whole team." And I told my mom, I was like, "There's no way.
Oh
There's no
no,
way Taylor. There's no way she's flying with the entire team."
nope.
I think it's a PR conspiracy, but okay.
If you want a good laugh, watch Victor the Viking pushing supposedly Taylor Swift's cart and knocking it over. And the caption
Huh.
was "Shake it off."
Huh.
Yep. But we digress. We'll return next week for previewing the Iowa game again for the Florida Rosedale. But you probably heard enough of us rant and moan about the state of Gopher football currently. So enjoy your week. Enjoy the fall weather. It is very, very nice. And
Yep.
we'll see you guys next week. But I'm joined by host Soup,
Change your best.
Griffin,
Change your best.
and Wyatt.
Change your best.
And your producer and host Jason O. And change your best. See you guys next time.